Hello, YouTube and Universe, and welcome to Scarstorm Productions. I'm your host, Morro, here to bring you everything on your favorite brands and more. And today, we're taking a look at the new stuff for Beyblade X. But before we begin, make sure you like, subscribe, and the notification so you don't miss another video like this, because it may be a small clip for you guys, but it's a big help for me and the channel. Thank you, and without further ado, let's begin. Today, we'll be taking a look at the new UX Beys for Beyblade X. First up, we have UX06 Leon Crest 760 Gear Needle. Now, whoever designed this, they need a raise because this just looks amazing. And if you are wondering, yes, this is a defense type Bey. And if you're also wondering, wasn't Leon Claw a balance type? This actually makes sense because, if you remember, when King was defeated by Common X, the reason was because King was trying to defend against Drawn Sword, which did not work out at all. So, this actually makes sense as a Bey that's supposed to be used to defend against pretty strong attack types. And that makes sense because if you turn it on its side, this is one thick boy. I mean, look at it, and look at it compared to Hell's Scythe. That's just one thick Bey, and if it doesn't weigh a lot, I'm going to be shocked because look at it. It's huge. Probably gonna weigh more than Cobalt Drake. Now, enough about me talking about how big the blade is. Moving on to its ratchet, it comes with a new one being 760. Now, from the way it looks, it's going to be one of the best ratchets in the meta because of how round it is. That means it won't burst as often as other Beys, and I'm just glad we're getting something new instead of like 460 for the 1,000th time. Now, another thing that the ratchet can do, it actually plays into the gimmick for Leon Crest. So the whole gimmick is, it basically has ultimate defense, and since it lines up with the blade, it just ends up giving it an extra layer of defense, which I have to say is a pretty good idea to actually have the ratchet line up with the blade, just like how Drawn Buster did. It also makes defense types more worth it because, if you know, in Beyblade X, defense types aren't really that good. They don't really have that much stamina, or they focus way too much on defense, when defense types are supposed to have a balance between stamina and defense. But hey, I'm glad we're returning to form when it comes to actual defense types. And finally, for its bit, it comes with an old one, that being Gear Needle. Now, we already saw this one with Spink's Cowl, but hey, it still looks good, and the color they used for it looks amazing. Now, that's it for Leon Crest. Moving on to the next Bey, we have the Phoenix Rudder deck set. Now, like all other deck sets, it comes with 3 Beys, but the main one we're focusing on today is the main event, Phoenix Rudder 970 Glide. Now, starting off with the parts, we have the blade, and I have to say, I love how the blade looks. And just like Leon Crest, they decided to change the typing of Phoenix. So no longer is it an attack type, it is now a stamina type. Now, if you remember, Phoenix Wing was one of the best blades you could have for attack type, so changing it to stamina might be a huge shock to most other people. But hey, just like Leon Crest, this makes sense. Because the way Burn lost to Common X was because he wasn't fast enough. And plus, Burn's whole thing was trying to make his Bey faster than all the others. So, it makes sense that this will be a stamina type. And I love how it looks. It reminds me of Wyvern Gale because of all the pockets it has in it. And the reason is because Wyvern Gale's design was supposed to be aerodynamic. So air would circulate around it to pick up speed. So that makes sense why it would be a round shape for a stamina type. Now that's it for the blade. Moving on to the ratchet, it comes with 970, which probably may be one of the best ratchets in the game because if you remember for Phoenix Wing, it came with 960, which is one of the best ratchets in the game because of how little the hit points were for it and how round it was. All in all, I said this will probably be one of the best parts for Beyblade X because of how round it is. Moving on to its bit, and I'd say this is pretty huge, we have Glide. Now, Glide looks to be a mix of different kind of tips, like it kind of reminds me of Taper, Point, and Unite. But instead of the normal ratio of gears we have an expanded one just like Hexa and XL. But instead of having regular plastic in the center of it, it has a white POM instead. If you don't know what PLM is, it's basically just a slicker plastic, which means this bit will have some pretty good stamina to it. Now, the only other time we've seen a different material inside of a bit for Beyblade X was Metal Needle, which came out with Shinobi Shadow for UX. So I think the unique bits will just be in UX while we get standard bits for the regular releases. But unlike Metal Needle, it won't destroy the stadium since of the plastic it's made out of. And since it's made of that kind of plastic, it will do what the name implies and glide across the stadium. Though there is one downside. Because of how the battles work in Beyblade X and how PLM is so slick on the stadium, if Phoenix Rudder actually gets hit, it's probably going to fly all across the stadium and either go out on the extreme pocket or go out in one of the two standard pockets. Now, this will be a huge downside because unlike Burst, where the frictionless drivers were some of the best in the game, with X, since of the extreme rail, the attack types Beys or balance will actually be hitting more to the center of the stadium. But hey, either way, I think this may be one of the best bits in Beyblade X. Now that's it for Phoenix Rudder. Moving on to the other two Beys that it comes with, first we have a Black Wyvern Gale. And just like all the other black versions of Beys, it has a black, white, and red color scheme, and it just looks amazing. Now for the other parts that it comes with 260, which we are also getting with the Cobalt Dragoon. And for the bit, it comes with Spike, which isn't the best defense tip, but it's still pretty good, in my opinion at least. And with Wyvern Gale being round, it just makes one of the perfect defense type Beys. After Wyvern Gale, we have a blue Sphinx Cowl. Now, we already have, 3 other versions of it since Sphinx Cowl came in that mini random booster, so it's nothing really to talk about with this. We already have a ton of them already. For the Ratchet, it comes with 180, and for the bit, it comes with Gear Flat. But other than that, that's really it for the Phoenix Rudder deck set. And all in all, I like these Beys. And all the parts that they have, they could be used for really good combos for the meta of the game. But hey, that's it for the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. And make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification so you don't miss another video like this. Because it may be a small clip for you guys, but it's a big help for me and the channel. Thank you. And if that's it, that's a wrap. Fade to black.